So I've been getting quite a few requests to explain gnarly rocketing it. Well, gnarly rocketing it is just a term my buddy came up with when I weather something or when I'm adding detail to one of these figures. Now these are a rather inexpensive toy. This He-Man video I've had for quite a while, and it's just been sitting because it's a rather easy paint job or easy change. They're still great toys. So this is some acrylic paint. All I'm doing here is I'm adding a little brown and making a dark brown, and then I'm literally going to cover the entire figure and wipe it off. Now I don't water this down. This is actually full strength, if you will, and this does two things. It adds darker colors to the recesses, giving you more detail, and then when you wipe it off, it takes off some of the shininess of the plastic and makes it more dull or more matte finish, making the skin look more realistic and actually adding definition. Here I add a little black, and I'm doing that to the brown parts. You could also make this very dark brown. If you look, I didn't clean my brush. Again, adding definition. And again, these are both full strength. This isn't a weathering pass or a black wash. This is actually adding color in the same process, but at a higher pigment or higher strength. I do the same thing to the hair, adding some different colors. If you think about in real life, nothing is ever one color. I mean, maybe a car, but in life and in nature, nothing's ever one color. This I'm adding an enamel, a gold enamel. It's called a gilding paint. Be careful with your paints on some of these toys. If you mix the wrong type of paint with the wrong type of plastic, it will never want to dry. It will eventually, sometimes. In this particular case, I just didn't like the bright orange, and I thought he should have gold. Reminded me more of the comics. Again, most of these are done based on what I had remembered these looking like. Same thing here, it's a silver gilding paint. I've since found some non-enamels or acrylic silvers and golds that are very, very good. Not quite as good, but I don't have the issue of mixing materials and not having things dry. So I'm going to add some silver here and there to the different accessories. The rubber piece or the harness was one of the worst ones as far as drying, so I would not suggest an enamel on that. I would suggest an acrylic. So just adding some silver to the different parts. Here pretty soon you're going to see me add some black to the sheet, and I'm actually going to water that down. After I do this handle, I'm adding some water. Now this is your first black wash, and I'm going over the golds. They dry very quickly, these enamels, and I'm rubbing it off. It takes some of the sheen off the metallics and gives you again more of that detail. I do that to the shield. I think I do it to just about everything. And then they're ready to go. Acrylics and enamels, they both dry very fast. These washes dry fast. And then you have to put this back on. Anybody who's ever put those on know how long they take. So that's pretty much all I did for the He-Man. And I also did Battle Cat. Again, Battle Cat is another very simple paint job with fur. Fur again is not uniform color, so here I'm getting the feet. I'm using browns and grays and blacks as if his feet are dirty or his paws are dirty. And if you look at any animal like lions or something, they tend to have dirty feet, the darker browns as they get down there. I add a little green in here to add some more depth of color under the belly. Again, I was looking at pictures of lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. You're just adding it on. Again, this is full strength. I really want it to get in there and stick. This is not a black wash. A black wash is really more for metallic items. With stuff like this, you're adding more layers of color. I painted the nose. Looking at this, I realized I need to paint his, I guess you'd call it goatee, a little bit lighter green. Watch the filmation. Now this I anticipate would be made of metal. Metal, maybe leather, maybe a mixture of both. So here I'm just doing a black wash or a brown wash, if you will, hitting it with watered down acrylic paints, different colors, hitting them randomly. Not doing a lot here. I wanted it red, but I wanted it to look like it was kind of old. Now the one thing that makes any paint job look good or more natural is not being uniform. Now you see me applying these black washes to the whole item, but I wipe it off randomly. The one thing humans are terrible at is randomness. We tend to do patterns. Here I'm just using some of that gold again, some of the gold gilding paint to add some details. I think I saw gold horns on his armor in one of the comics, or probably in one of that Pixel Dan book about the different He-Man lines, whether it be classics or origins, 2000s, whatever. I thought it looked good, so I added it. Now, since I did this, they've come out with a special edition, Battle Damaged. He-Man's got chrome-plated armor and an angry face. Looks like he maybe has diarrhea or something. I haven't picked that one up. I just didn't like He-Man with bloody scars. Once you get the paint done, it doesn't take very long to dry, and some of the most fun is posing them. So, got to pose it, make it look like he's roaring, and then I added him to my shelf. And you notice that immediately his head is different. Yes, once I found a classic head in the Battle Damage He-Man, I had to swap it. Sometimes you just can't beat the original. Hope that explains some of the gnarly rocket method. If it's a method, it's just weathering. But see you again next time. Thanks.